Welcome to Reforged, the two warriors within. In our last episode, I left you with a question. Which warrior will you feed today? So the next question is, where do we begin? Well, welcome to episode 2, A Gift of Hope. Most people think change begins with a defining moment, a breakthrough, a crisis, and a decision that just changes everything. And sometimes that does happen. But other times, it begins with something much smaller. A simple act of love, a moment of connection, and a promise is kept. And looking back over the years and through all my memories and photos and all the crazy things that I've gone in my life, I realized that's exactly how it all started. And my life changed with a small stuffed bear, placed in my hands by my daughter. And at the time, I didn't know, but that little bear will become far more than a gift. He would become a reminder of why I served, who I loved, and the man I wanted to become. In years before my daughter spoke the words that changed my entire life, and before the post-deployment rehabilitation and evaluation program, before Warrior Dad, before Reforged, she handed me a small stuffed bear, and she looked up at me and smiled and said, "Dad, take care of him while you're gone." And this is where the journey truly begins. And so, what does a brigade command sergeant major do in that moment? I'll tell you what he does. He does exactly what his daughter asks of him. So I'm a girl dad. That's what I do. He takes care of that little stuffed bear, Cool Bear. And on that night, Cool Bear deployed with me. He was a thread between who I was leaving behind, my daughter, and who I was becoming. And at first, he was simply a loving reminder of home, a loving connection to my daughter, and in a way to make the distance between us just feel a little bit shorter. But over time, he became something more, became my shield, my light, my guide, my anchor into the world. And during the quiet moments, I started writing these amazing stories about him, these simple stories, short reflections, and little adventures I hoped would make my daughter smile. And at the time, I thought, yeah, I am writing stories for her. But in reality, I wasn't really talking about her or writing stories just for her anymore. I was building something. I was feeding the good warrior. And again, at the time, I just didn't really understand it. I didn't have a language for it. I wasn't thinking about healing. I wasn't thinking about books, and I wasn't thinking about audiences like this one. Just simply being a girl dad, trying to stay connected to the shining light in my life. But every story I wrote fed love. Every memory I held on to fed honor. And every day I refused to quit on myself, I fed courage. And every page I wrote, every memory I preserved, every story I shared, especially about this guy, was quietly bringing my true self back to life. And back then, I thought again, I was writing stories about this little bear. And what again I was really doing, I was beginning the long journey of becoming Reforged. The stories weren't just for her, my daughter, anymore. They were shaping me into the dad that she needed. So in that regard, join me for episode 3, where we'll discover how a father's promise to his daughter became the first step to becoming Warrior Dad. Until next time, I'm TJ Baird. This is Warrior Dad Stories, stories with soul, leadership with purpose, and legacy without limits. And if you liked listening to my story, please subscribe and join me for our next episode, Warrior Dad.